We're live.
Are we going?
Yeah, we're going. The adventure has begun. Here we are. Hi, everyone. I'm TinaO.
And I'm Meribeth Deen.
And welcome to the Writer's Adventure. We are live in 3 places right now. We're live on YouTube, on the Tina Overbury YouTube. We're live on the Facebook, Tina Overbury Facebook. And we're also live in the Writer's Adventure private Facebook group. So thank you for being here. You may have comments tonight and we may not see them all because we're literally streaming in 3 places, but please know that when we wrap up in about half an hour, we'll get to all of your comments and I promise we'll answer your questions or give you what you need. At the end of this as well, pay attention to the comments because we're going to be posting 3 really fun assignments for you, as well as some writing prompts for you to dive into tonight. So that's what we're up to. Why don't we introduce ourselves a little bit and then we'll say a little bit about the Writer's Adventure so that everybody kind of figures out why we're doing this boot camp.
Sure.
Anyway.
So I'm Meribeth Deen, and my background is as a journalist, which I'm not, I don't know that I was ever the hard news kind of person or the gotcha kind of person, but more the storytelling kind of person and wanting to explore and figure out, using the vehicle of storytelling to find out what the world is all about. And then one day, this fine woman walked into my office and she said, "Hey, can I write some stuff for you?"
Yeah. She's like, yeah, you can. And then what you just said, the way you approach story, it was Maribeth's feedback on my writing that made me think, I think I need to do a little bit more writing with you. I really appreciate the hard questions that you ask, and I really appreciate the details that you pull out, and you make me a better writer.
And Tina's done a lot of writing since I met her.
Have.
And we've done a lot of writing and work together and work on other people's books. And
yeah.
It's been a fun ride.
We're so as the Writer's Adventure, our whole piece and our whole experience we want you to have over tonight, tomorrow, and the next day really is the adventure of writing. We approach writing, both Meribeth and I have really similar values. We tend to meet at the core, but we have very different ways into writing. So in this experience that you're going to have with us for the next 3 days, I want you to know, be prepared that we likely will say different things and you might go, did they just contradict each other?
Or I might question Tina.
Yeah.
And I might go, "Tina, I don't really understand what you just said. Could you clarify, please?"
Which is the whole gig we're playing. Writing.
It's just what we do.
Yeah. Because writing isn't just for me, at least not what we do. What we do is we help you write to give it away to someone so that someone in the public can read your writing and go, I got that. I went somewhere. That's our thing. I didn't tell you about me. My background is in the arts. I have a theater background, a poetry background. I've written everything there is to write except a song. I've tried. So that's next kind of on my list of things to tackle. I'm in the middle of writing a book, and I've written 3 plays. And my last show, oh my God, is a poetic haunt. I'm going to call it that right now. And it's definitely a statement piece. And that's the last piece that I wrote. So that's a little bit about us. Why we're here and doing this, aside from giving you something really awesome about the engine room, which is really important to the way that we work, it's also to introduce you to the way that we coach and the way that we approach writing. We are launching something called the Writer's Adventure, which is a 14-month cohort that starts you off with Tuesday night writing groups, includes writing prompts during the week, includes a monthly boot camp, and more immersive than this, and also includes 2 in-person writing retreats on Salt Spring Island or online if you prefer to do it that way. And So just to be really clear, we want you to experience us. So you might go, hey, I want to write my book with them. Or write my keynote or write my body of work, whatever it is that you're writing, I want to do that with them. We should also tell you we're on our 7th book with an author right now. And we did a writing retreat in Joshua Tree, which was wicked. And we did one in Agassiz.
Agassiz, we called that the
Yeah.
Sasquatch one.
Sasquatch, Enter the Mystery.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit for you now. One of the things that we want for you in your writing practice and in this weekend, our hope, our wish, our desire, our offering to you is that you experience at least once in this weekend that you've written from a purely inspired place and that you got it on the paper and that it makes sense to you. So it really is this inspiration in my heart that I hear this way, made it onto the page, and look, it communicates. That's one thing we want for you.
Another thing I think that our practice does is makes breakthroughs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's this thing where you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm writing about. And then we try and help you come at it a totally different way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, I got a new idea.
There it is.
There it is.
Right?
There it is. Now I know where I'm going.
Yeah. We often say we want you to get lost. We want you to get lost in order to find what's actually in there. The other thing that we want for you, and this is like a long-term thing, we want you to love writing forever. Like, we want writing to be your companion forever.
It's a process, like not just a process, but it's a way of processing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a way of interpreting that's healthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a way of asking questions for yourself into the world. It's a way to connect with people. And I always say the one thing about writing is it will never leave you. Your relationship with art and artistry and expression is a constant companion. Things can never get so overwhelming if you have a pen in your hand and a piece of paper. Make good art, whatever that means to you. And I don't mean there's a hierarchy of good art. I mean, like, make truthful art, make art that communicates. So we want that for you. We also want you to never hit a blank page again and go, I got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you could write from an inspired place every day, because I totally think you can. I know we might disagree on that. Do you disagree on that? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, it just occurred to me today as I was working on some of this stuff and working on some of my own stuff. It's, is writing, does it have to be in paragraphs?
No.
No. Does it have to be in full sentences?
No.
None of that. So it's kind of making room for those bits and pieces that are actually required in the background.
I like that. There's something there. We got to chase that one. Yum. Okay. So enough about us.
The engine room.
Let's jump in.
Yeah. What's the engine room?
Oh my gosh. Why did we choose the engine room? Do you want to go?
The engine room is this thing we came up with like a million years ago, and we've taught it a few times before. And we just love it because, first of all, it's really fun to find the engine rooms in other stories.
Yep.
And secondly, we think it's the engine room. It's that thing that brings a writer to the page. Yeah. It's like, oh, there's this idea, there's this scene, there's this thing that I just got to do something with that. Yeah.
I think it's the first inspiration. And I believe, because I say this in other places, that people tell you who they are in the first 5 minutes. That first inspiration has all of the information that you need for your whole book. It may not have all the tributaries, all of the rivers. It may not have all of that, but it has all of the core information that you need. So the engine room in this conversation tonight is about understanding that inspiration piece and tracking and chasing the information in it.
Knowing where it's got all these legs, and you're gonna get kind of panicky maybe because you're like, "Whoa, I could go this way, I could go this way. I've got like 12 different themes." But grasping it enough to feel at peace with it, and not only feel at peace with it, but to love it.
Yeah. And follow it. Right. So there's that piece. I want to give you that for the people like me out there who are like, just give me the inspiration stuff. And now I want to break it down a little bit in a more tangible. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just thinking maybe you can start with the shark here, Tina. Why'd you choose the shark?
Oh, I will. I'm going to get there in a sec. Okay. Yeah, I love the shark. Okay. The other piece about the engine room, though, in a more tangible way, is that the engine room becomes like, if you think of it like the body, the engine room is like the heart. And it's the heart of your whole book, your whole keynote, your whole song, right? Whatever the thing pivots on, whatever, like it all comes to, whatever the crux is, that is your engine room. So not only do you have that in the whole piece that you're creating, whatever it is, you also have an engine room within every chapter. You also have an engine room in every paragraph. You also have an engine room in every sentence. So it's like it goes super macro, right? Of the what's the on the balloonogram, and I'm holding all the balloons, what's that, right? But then as you get into your writing, you have to ask yourself, why am I writing this chapter? Why am I writing this paragraph? Why am I writing this sentence? There's a heart in every single one.
And it really helps you when you are lost, because you're going to get lost.
Yeah.
And that's okay, to be like, wait a second. Wait, what's my thing again? What can I hold on to here? What do I know about what I'm trying to create for the world right here?
Yeah. It also helps you in your editing, just so you know, when you get to that point, like, yeah, I don't need this because it actually is, it's actually another limb. I don't need another limb.
Got 4.
I got 4 limbs. I'm good. Okay. So there's that. I want to give you that. So tonight, when we're done this little conversation, we're going to send you 3, those of you who are tuning in on YouTube, you'll get it via email. Those of you who are tuning in on Facebook, we'll put it in the chat. You're going to get 3 links to 3 different, they're movie clips. And what's interesting about these 3 clips is that they happen in different parts of a story. So you might be thinking, does an engine room, like, where does it live? Is it, if it's that crux scene, is it the middle of the book? Where does it go?
And I know no one out here has any clue what we're talking about right now.
Do you want to jump in?
Once they see what the engine rooms are, then you get it, right? It's like in every movie you watch, there's one, or every series, every TV show, there's one thing that they're going, okay, this is why.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we're going to bother to tell this story.
Mm-hmm. And this is why you're going to bother to listen to this story.
And, you know, it becomes a really fun game when you start thinking about this, like, oh, let's wait. Let's watch for the why scene.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to turn it to you just for a sec and into some questions. So you're here because you write, and you're here to pull in some new information. So just now, like, why are you really here? What's the project that's chasing you right now? What's the question that's haunting you right now?
Or what's that thing you want to tell people about, but maybe you're scared to, or you don't quite have the words. You haven't put it in a succinct enough sentence for them to not think you're totally crazy.
Yeah. In fact, we say that all the time. Come on out on the skinny branches. If you feel like you might be a little bit crazy, you're right on track. Okay. So we do have a comment here. I see a different creative workout. Awesome.
Totally.
Yep. So really though, sit in this. Why are you here? What's your relationship with writing? What's your relationship with that thing you just said? That you want to say it, but you're not sure if you should, or you don't know how, or
Your crazy idea, your big vision.
or maybe you have a sense of your artistry that's emerging, but you have no language for it yet. Maybe you're making a departure out of, maybe you're diving into comedy for the first time. You're like, I can't write that shit. I'm not funny, right? I don't know what's your edge? Because that, when we give you these links, you'll notice that these links, so there's 3 movies. One is Coraline, one is Jaws, thus the shark, and one is A Few Good Men.
I really like that shark there too, because you know what? The engine room, it's the thing with teeth.
Nice.
Right?
It's like, nice. It's the thing with teeth.
It's a part of your story or whatever it is you're creating that's got teeth that hooks into people. It's like, if you're writing a song, it's that little melody that sticks in people's ear.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Oh, I love that. I wrote this line once about the unbridgeable gap. I think of the engine room as the things you can't put words to because it's so rich or deep or heartbreaking or whatever. And your engine room chapter is unpacking that again and again and again and again and again. So I want to come back to, just so those of you who are linear thinkers and think in terms of an act structure, I'm going to be really brief, okay? Because we've given you 3 examples of engine rooms. And one of them happens in Coraline. And Coraline, I'm not going to tell you what it is, what happens, but just know it's like a typical act 1, which means establishing. In an act 1 of anything you're writing, it's like, where are we? What's happening? What's at stake here, right? So we chose a scene that we think is an engine room. That's an act 1. The second one is Jaws, and I really think that one's going to surprise you. It is not a scene people tend to remember, and yet it's an act 2 engine room. Act 2 being things are on the move and things are in change and they're in chaos and we're in a journey.
And it also doesn't, in an outward way, it doesn't fit with the movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
It's a bit of an odd outlier of a scene.
Yeah.
So why is it there?
Yeah. And why would we think it's an engine room? Curious your thoughts. And then the third one is A Few Good Men, and I'm not even going to say it because
it's so obvious.
So obvious. It's the climax, right, of that story. So I want you to know that as you are writing tonight and playing with inspiration, it doesn't matter where your engine room lives. You can't get it wrong. I want you to know that. Your engine room might, if you're writing a song, it might even be like the last lyric, the last line. It doesn't matter where it lives. What matters is that it's got all of the things that are at risk for you to say, whether that's emotionally or actually in the language. But it's all there. So with that, the last piece I want to leave you with that we'll unpack more tomorrow is something to consider, is that it's also the thing that without it, it's quite possible your whole story falls apart.
Falls flat.
Yeah, or flat. Okay. So here's how.
Or you might not finish it.
How are we doing for time? Oh, we're rocking and rolling. Okay. So here's how this is going to work for the next 3 days. Tonight, you've got this. We're going to send you an email. You got the things, you got some writing prompts. Awesome. Tomorrow morning and Sunday morning at 10 a.m., we're going live here again, and we're going to have just a 10-minute hello. How are ya? We're going to look at some of the comments that came up, and we're going to give you 3 or 4 more writing prompts to take you further into the process of your writing for the weekend. And then we're going to come back for a half an hour. And on Saturday, we're tuning in at 4. And on Sunday, we're tuning in at 1 o'clock. And in that half hour, we're actually going to unpack some elements of the engine room. our invitation for you tonight and for the weekend is that you actually finish something this weekend, whether it's a paragraph, a chapter, a page, a line.
And whatever that thing you have finished, it's like, yes,
Yeah.
this is what I'm about.
Yeah.
This is what I need to get out into the world. This little thing.
Yeah, I like that. You've got something to chase, and it's got teeth. It's got teeth.
It's got teeth in you, most importantly.
Yeah. Okay, what are we missing? Anything else? First
think that's it.
inspiration. We got that. How's it going to work? We got that. Da, da, da. All right. So,
Writer's Adventure.
Writer's Adventure. Again, just to let this pitch on Writer's Adventure. Should you love this process and you want to have a conversation with Meribeth or I, or both of us, about your involvement in the Writer's Adventure, which is a 14-month cohort that will see you from beginning, middle, end of a project that you are working on, reach out to us, and we would love to have that conversation with you. So I think that's it. So without further ado, make sure that you put your questions, comments, put them all in here, and we will answer them. And we're going to plunk in the links for you to watch and the writing prompts for you to play with. I want to just be a little bit more specific. Tonight, when you see the writing prompts,
don't the writing prompts come tomorrow morning?
That I made some for tonight too.
Okay.
So after you watch the movies, like there's the brain candy part where your brain's going to go, oh, I know why they chose the engine room here. That's the good student in you. Good. Yay, you. Awesome. The next part, though, we invite you to do is go, and what the hell is alive in me?
It's an emotional reaction. What's your emotional reaction?
Yeah.
To that scene.
Yeah. You might find one of the three that you love, and you're like, okay, this woke this up in me. And I encourage you to trust your first damn impulse. Trust the first one. What would it be like if you were all in on the first impulse? And then we've got some writing prompts that you can explore. And I've given you some instructions on those writing prompts. What I want you to know about writing prompts is just keep writing for 3 minutes. Don't edit. You'll see it. You'll see it there. That's it, everybody. We will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. here or on my Facebook page or in our private Facebook group. And let's spend a weekend writing from an inspired place.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Let's do this boot camp.
Let's do it.
Hope you guys have some fun.
Yeah. Right. Okay. See you at 10.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.